Hello and welcome to Space Shark Teaches. I'm Sean, owner and lead developer of Space Shark Studios, and in this series we're going to be teaching Godot. So in the last lesson, we got something working. We don't have jump anymore because we have to use that is on floor. We moved everything over to the physics process. This time we're going to get jump working by switching everything over to move and slide. So this is not a straightforward, or it's not an easy process. It's pretty straightforward, but it's not easy. And that's because there are new concepts to learn. Move and slide has velocity, like I said. It's the difference between move 5 steps every frame and move 5 steps a second. And it also has this thing called floor normal. And so now we have this move and slide. Let's go ahead and just go through and hook this up everywhere we had move and collide before. True there, true there. And jump. And in gravity. And so now we've updated in all of our normal places. It'll run in gravity, move left, move right, and jump. And jump, like we saw, if we have pressed up and we are on the floor, we should be jumping now at jump speed. Now, two things. One, we're moving a lot slower now. It's going to take forever for him to fall. So let's go ahead and change this. So we were moving 5 pixels every frame at, let's say, 60 frames a second before. So if we take 5 times 60 frames a second, we are going to be moving 300 pixels a second. So let's make, or 300, make our speed and gravity, and let's just make our jump speed 600, so double the gravity. And this should look familiar. So now it's moving the same speed as it was before. That's right. But if you press up, you still can't jump. So let's see why that might be. Once again, we can go in here and move and slide. And this goes back to this floor normal. So if you scroll up a bit and say is on floor, it returns true if the body is on the floor. Only updates when calling move and slide. Floor normal is the up direction, used to determine what is a wall and what is a floor and a ceiling. So right now it's set to 0, 0, which means there is no normal. So for instance, if this is the floor, a normal is perpendicular, which means it's going up. In this case, if we have a floor that's on an angle like this, it also is going to be perpendicular. We need to find what this vector is for each one of these. Thankfully, a floor being like this is really easy to tell because this is a vector that goes 0 left and right, and on this screen, 1 up. However, in Godot, that is a -1 because this is the positive direction. So our normal is going to be 0, -1. How do we do this though? There's nothing to add here. And that's when you go down to this default arg. So as you can see, this has a value in it, which means it's default. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 default arguments already set up. You can see this equal vector 2 is what makes it default. if we set this to 3, the floor normal appears. You can set this to 0 and this to -1. Set this to 3, 0, -1. And one more time, 3, 0, -1. And let's not forget gravity. So it uses 3 arguments over here, and then 0 in the x, and -1. What this says is if it is colliding with something underneath it, so down this way, it's on the floor. Let's see if that works. Okay, if we press jump, we sort of jump. That's a move in the right direction. It's still weird. One thing to change is we don't want this pressed. We want this just pressed, because as you saw, holding down will cause it to continue jumping. That's not really what we want. We want one press, one jump. So good. We have move and slide now. Let's go ahead and leave off there now that we have jumping working, and move and slide using that jump. And next lesson, we will figure out what's going on with jump that's causing it to have that weird sloppiness, as well as the fact that if you're moving left and right, you can't jump, only if you're standing still. So we will deal with that in the next lesson when we clean up the physics of our scripts. That's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching, and this has been Sean with Space Shark Teaches.